Hi, this is Naroki5. I am going to be doing this until I die or I find something better to do. So please help me achieve this personal and, I think, noble objective by contributing to my Patreon or Subscribe Star. Link is down below. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Pill Nation Hangout number 337. For those of you who don't know, I am at Patreon as Naroki5. I am not subscribed to as the Red Pill Nation. YouTube, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, MGTOW TV, Brighteon. I seriously started to look at band. YouTube has suddenly decided they don't like ad blockers. So I mean, I might not even have a YouTube channel here. I might just cancel it. I'm getting just sick to death of YouTube. But for those of you other places, Facebook, Minds, MeWe, Gab, Getter, and TLB Talks. And yep, that is it for now. I keep saying I'm going to move my stuff over to Spotify and iTunes, but I never seem to quite get around to it. And I will get around to it at some point. It might take me another 12 months, but I will get around to it. So with me tonight so far is, and because we're doing this in the middle of the afternoon, Rearson, introduce yourself.
There we go. I don't know why it doesn't want to work that way, but hey, it's me, Rearson, Hiroki's sidekick and friend I've known for, again, my life, and just not quite half of yours now, actually. Yeah, something
Pretty
like that.
close.
Damn. I mean, it's, 25 freaking years, 26, I think now. Wow. Man, we're getting old. We're getting up there. We are certainly getting up there. But hey, age is supposed to just be an attitude thing, and I'd say that I've got a pretty good and bad attitude, depending upon how you want to look at it. So.
Oh, me, I'm 56 going on 12. So what the hell do I know, right?
yeah, hit the wall then, my friend. You hit the wall. You're that young. Oh, it's going to be one of those shows. All right, and that's it for me for now. And of course, we'll wait for you to show up, and we'll get him to introduce himself as well.
Okay, so the topics for today. Topic number 1, the quartering breaks mainstream media. Oh, that one was funny. Topic number 2, Israel, Gaza, Hamas, part 2, or week 2, the fake hospital strike, pro-Gaza supporters storm DC. Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy going on about that one. And the second million person march was canceled in Canada, and the numerous people doxxed are threatened on both sides over the situation. Topic number 3, Victoria's Secret returns to bringing back hot girl models. Yes, Victoria's Secret finally is bringing back the angels. Apparently, people were not finding 300-pound land whales to be particularly attractive. Captain Ahab has already started looking for other work because he can't harpoon the fatties coming out of Victoria's Secret anymore. Unfortunately, Captain Ahab was not be able to read for a comment, but he was reported as saying, "God darn it, I'm gonna have to go back up to Thieveley."
Just pick any Democrat city. You'll have more fatties you can shake your dick at. Oh no, not there. That's even assuming that they're even biologically female. But anyway, moving on.
Okay. Topic number 4. New app. Greyjay has a potential to end the YouTube monopoly. Yeah, I was busy coughing my lungs out as Rearson was busy talking here. So that's, if you're noticing a change in my voice, that's the reason why. Topic number 5, Saskatchewan legislator passed the pronoun bill, Bill 137. Good on Saskatchewan for that. Topic number 6, Alex Jones denied bankruptcy protection. And topic number 7, Daily Wire is coming out with its version of Snow White starring Brett Cooper. Random thought for this week. Some of you had circumstances in your life that maybe prevented you from hitting a milestone where perhaps maybe you should have settled into a career, where you should have been thinking about your financial future maybe a little bit earlier or something like that. Understand that life is not a race, and that you do things at your own pace, and there's reasons why things happen the way they did. And I'm thinking of certain stuff right now that I wish that I had probably done when I was actually living in Banff with when I was busy playing D&D with Rearson here. But that was a long time ago. I'm here and I'm now, and I'm having to think about it really hard, especially given what is going on. So you are where you are. Anybody who's telling you that you should have been at this point in your life, has not lived your life. And yeah, okay, at some point, yeah, maybe there was some stuff that you maybe should have dealt with earlier, but you didn't. But if you're doing it now, you're doing it now. And I think I'm talking this more to myself here. Don't be embarrassed because you're only getting around to dealing with some issues now that you maybe probably could have been better off dealing with when I say 25 or 30. But with that, still waiting. CV is still not here yet, so we're just going to get into the topics here, because again, right, we are literally on a bit of a tight schedule here because of where I'm at and my schedule in terms of work. So, topic number 1. Okay, and this is tied. I have topic number 1 and topic number 2 where they are because they're kind of tied in together. But what ended up happening is a CNN reporter was more or less caught faking a rocket attack.
Yeah, we're getting video through now, Jerry. Now you can see the area is completely deserted, but I want you to get them off the road, get them laid down next to the road, okay? Closer to the road, Jerry. Move them. It looks like you're in the middle of a forest.
Get down. Close.
Okay, Jerry, tell the cameraman to keep Clarissa in shot, okay? It's not the Blair Witch Project.
You're fine.
That's it, perfect. Okay. Get nice and close. Get the cameraman nice and close.
That's the Iron Dome, okay?
Now look around, Jerry. Just look around as if you're in danger. Try and look nice and scared. Yeah, that's it. Catching your breath. Dead scary over here with all the bombs going off and all that.
Guys.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's the money shot. Nice and tight on Clarissa.
Are you seeing our situation, guys?
Tell her yes.
Yes.
Can she hear the shells, Jerry? Because they are about 6 miles away.
Can you hear the shell?
Stay down.
Derek, can you boost the volume on those explosions, please?
We have to stay here.
Oh, and be a darling and patch me through to Clarissa's microphone,
Guys,
please.
come to us.
Clarissa, I need you to stop swearing. You're overdoing it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Now we're getting set up on sound and visual. We should be going live in about 15 seconds. Okay.
Were you guys rolling on this?
Yeah, we're rolling, Clarissa, but we're not live yet. Okay. We can't show the earlier bit because we want people to think you're in danger.
And they dove into this ditch, and they made it look like the only problem is that the guy who dove into the ditch with her stayed on his cell phone the whole time. And in the background, you can actually see people moving around. So, Jeremy Hembling as he's apt to do, I think he hired a British voice actor, and he basically put up this fake scene where he was telling the I can't remember the name of this particular reporter, but she was telling her to do this, do this, do this, do this, and it was like, and I mean, it was like, it was so obviously a parody, but CNN chose to lose their shit over it, and because CNN lost their shit over it, the entire of the mainstream media lost their shit over it. Apparently, people were so stupid that they thought it was real. Now, keep in mind this is CNN, so yeah, they probably did fake that rocket attack, but it's neither here nor there. The bottom line is that, I mean, like, the mainstream media melted down. And here's the ironic part. I mean, not one person in the mainstream media could even be bothered to reach out to Jeremy Hembling and ask him whether he did this just as a parody or whether he did this for real. So there's people out there reading stuff on the Washington Post and the New York Times or whatever, thinking that Jeremy Hembling was trying to fake this, even though he wasn't. So yeah, Jeremy Hembling from the quartering broke the mainstream media establishment. And I mean, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, what is it that, I mean, like, you're literally, like, one phone call. Jeremy Hembling has somebody who takes his phone calls. One phone call could have confirmed this, but not one of them actually did it. Like, one of the people who reported this story actually called Jeremy Hembling, received no phone calls about this. Like, all of this stuff happened and not one person bothered to phone him. So if that's not an example of the mainstream media just being completely broken, I don't know what would be. And since V just chose to jump in, V, introduce yourself, and hopefully you saw what happened with Jeremy Hembling and that fake CNN reporter getting caught faking a rocket attack.
Yes, well, I am V, host of the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show and other media projects, and spokesperson for TLBTalk.com. I'm here in America. I'm going on tour. To promote TLBTalk.com and also my documentaries, to promote those as well. So, yes, when it comes to looking at the news and watching war footage, I mean, you might as well be looking at Kubrick might as well still be alive, okay? Because they will fake some stuff these days, because people are picking up on the reused war footage from other places and other times. Because that's been going on like crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't see this particular event, but that's not uncommon to happen. You just can't trust the mainstream news with this stuff. I mean, you literally have to, I mean, if there's any footage, you literally have to, you know, I would like look at other sources, like look at Al Jazeera, look at RT News, look at, you know, just because these people are in it, all right? These people are actually in the mess. What we're being shown in the West is just propaganda. Everything is propagandized. Everything is, I mean, because you have so many supporters of Palestine in the U.S., all right, because we know, so there has been a media blackout in general. but they'll let us see little tiny events here and there where Israel is the one being attacked. Screw Israel. I don't care about Israel. I know what's going on. Hopefully, most Americans know what's going on. Not that it's anti-Semitic to not support Israel, even though that is the brainwashing that we're all being faced with today. I don't care if Israel's are Semites or not. They're New World Order elitists, and they're trying to screw up everything and to conquer everything. Just because the Fourth Reich is not run by Germans doesn't mean the Fourth Reich doesn't exist. This is the Fourth Reich, ladies and gentlemen. This is happening in a different part of the world. And of course, Americans are going to be shut out from the truth, as always. Anyhow, yeah, I didn't mean to go into all that, but go ahead.
Well, much like V, I was not aware really of what this was until you brought it up, and excuse me, fully admit that I didn't take the time to look into it. But the fact that CNN got trolled and they fully reacted. No, fully reacted. Not responded. They reacted as an extremist would do. Shocker. Just absolute fucking shocker. Not. I mean, how far into Trump getting elected did he label CNN as fake news? I'm just going to leave it at that. I've got nothing more to say.
You're fake news. You're all fake news. I mean, yeah.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Sorry.
Well, what can I say? I mean, you're seeing them, like, they keep acting like their opinion is the sole one out there, and it's not just CNN. It's like all of them, right? And they keep acting as if the alt media doesn't exist. At the same time, trying to do everything they can to make sure that the alt media doesn't keep growing, and it is. And the fact that they were so that they couldn't, not only were they so stupid they couldn't see that it was a parody, that not one of them could even be bothered to call Jeremy Hamblin to ask him. That was just like, wow.
Hey, here's the deal. They do great reporting over there at CNN. Cut 'em some slack, Jack.
Whatever.
Just saying.
Yep. So yeah, well, you got into Israeli and Hamas, and got Gaza and Hamas for the next topic, and that's going to be the next topic. So let me just get into the next topic here, because I don't know, we might be on this one for a while. You got to understand something. For me personally, I don't have a dog in this fight. So to be straight up honest, yeah, is it tragic? Because, if you go over to Jab, like, somebody posted photos of dead kids shot in the head on Jaffe's Skype feed, and it was like, well, is that really necessary? I don't know whether it was dead Palestinian kids or dead Israeli kids. Was that really necessary to make the point? The other issue here is, it's kind of interesting to see the left eat itself. That's really all I got to say about this. The first topic is the one that I think is really kind of stands out as to how bad the mainstream media actually is. there was a missile that went out of control and hit not the hospital, but the parking lot of the hospital. And what first, despite the fact that the Israeli government and the Israeli military put up proof that it wasn't them that fired the missile, it took about 24 hours before the actual truth of the situation came out. It was initially reported that the entire hospital had been leveled, and it turned out that it was just the parking lot of the hospital. They said hundreds had died. In fact, or maybe only about a dozen people had died. The photos that I've seen clearly indicate that the damage wasn't, like, there was a little bit of cosmetic damage to the hospital, but the hospital is actually still up and running. So yeah, it took, the truth was all the way around the world before the truth, the lie was halfway around the world before the truth even had the chance to get its pants on. And again, talking about the failure of the mainstream media. They needed to get the story out so badly that they just ran with it. And then they got caught with their pants down and they had to backpedal. That's why I'm saying that maybe it was a good thing that V started talking about the Israel Gaza situation, because I mean it all kind of ties in together. Now, this week though, I'm not going to so much talk about what's going on over there. I want to talk about what's going on over here in terms of the whole situation. First thing that happened is there was a pro-Gaza demonstration in DC. Now, the pro-Gaza demonstrators stormed the Capitol building, started screaming "Death to America" in the lobby of the Capitol building, and yet mysteriously, and then left, and yet mysteriously, none of these people have been arrested for trespassing or anything else. You know, as opposed to what happened on January the 6th, even though basically the same crime was committed. And yeah, you gotta also wonder about, like, I've actually seen photos that say "Queers for Palestine," and it's sort of like, you do realize that fundamentalist Islamists would like behead you or kill you for being gay. You know, they seem to be absolutely
throw you off from a tall enough building, strapped to a chair, just because.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, and it's like, you know, they just,
you can't make this up, folks. You can't make this up.
So yeah, it just absolutely clueless. The other thing that happened, this is specifically happened here in Canada. Now, we talked about the million-person march here a couple of episodes ago.
Are you done hacking?
I'm not hacking. I'm not coughing. That wasn't me. I don't know who you heard, but that wasn't me.
My friend, are you there?
What? Hello? Can anybody hear me?
I was muted. Wasn't me.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so Rearson can't hear me.
Rearson's having some problems. I'm muted.
Okay, so you can hear me though. Okay, so yeah, Rearson, it's that Rearson know that the so continuing on, the million-person march that occurred a couple of weeks ago in Canada, they were going to do another march here, well, a few days ago, and what they ended up having to do is they had to cancel it. The reason why they had to cancel it and I was on with Jaffe a couple of days ago and I explained why. It's because it was multi-denominational. It was you had Muslims, Christians, and Jews basically all lined up together saying, keep your fucking hands off our kids, you perverts. Now, what they did is all three of these groups got together and they realized that they couldn't hear. They couldn't do this because what might happen, and it would be just like the Canadian government to do this, is to send somebody in with pro-Hamas or pro-Israeli signs into the crowd to start a fight just to claim that the million-person march was being violent. Now, there was apparently a march in Calgary that occurred anyway. I don't know. Apparently, it didn't. It did get a little bit hairy, but for the most part, most of the marches were canceled because of this was going on. So this is having an effect here, so yeah, that's the other thing that happened. The last thing that happened, and this is again the left eating itself. Sarah Silverman. Ethan Klein has had to cancel Leftovers, has stopped coming on Leftovers because half of his fans are like screaming at him because he is supporting Israel during this, which makes perfect sense because Ethan Klein is Jewish. And I'm not going to fault Ethan Klein for supporting, especially since he's got relatives that are over there. And here's the thing about it. I mean, Ethan Klein's family, not him, Ethan Klein's family, he's had his family threatened over this. And I mean, again, I'm not a big fan of Ethan Klein, but I mean, I understand where he's coming from with this. And I mean, same thing has happened on the other side. There were a bunch of rich, snotty, elitist kids who came out pro-Hamas and at Harvard and Columbia, and they lost their internships at some various companies for being in support of Hamas. So I mean, it's becoming very divisive. I can't say I'm entirely surprised that people are being really critical of Israel in this particular situation. The only thing that really stands out for me is, I mean, my working theory on this now is that they needed this particular operation because there is no absolute guarantee. They damn well know that there's no guarantee that Biden is going to win in 2024. So they need to have some type of a war going on, regardless of which side wins. So my gut feeling is that that if this whole thing in Israel is going to somehow mysteriously drag out past the election next year. So yeah, we're still going to be talking about this issue a year from now. And the way it's going to work is that if Biden wins, then we'll get deeper into the Ukraine. If Trump wins, we'll get deeper into the situation with Israel. And so this is almost kind of like a hedging of bets, almost. And I mean, it kind of makes sense, especially when you consider the number of failures that the Israeli intelligence had to perform in order for Hamas to have been initially so successful. Like it's almost the same number of failures that occurred on 9/11. In fact, one of the biggest key signs on it is that they chose to attack on a holiday. And here's the really weird part about that, is that's exactly how Yom Kippur started in 1967, the Yom Kippur War. So with that, I mean, again, I have no dog in this situation. If I'm going to say if I had to slightly pick a side, I would go with the Israelis, but I don't have to pick a side, so I'm not going to pick a side. And with it, I'm going to turn it over to V.
You know, I actually watched an episode of H3H3, and I don't want to say it was like one of those full episodes. It's like when they're short videos that they used to do back in the day, not their podcasts, but uh, Ethan Klein and his wife, who is full is Israeli, uh, did a test, a genetic test. I guess was a 23andMe test, and yeah, they're full blown, I guess, Ashkenazi Jews. So, yeah, for Ethan Klein to support his people, I mean, of course he's going to. That's a no-brainer. But what can I say? It wasn't until I moved to Poland that I have a taste for a Hamas. It's not bad. It's not bad. Never had the opportunity to taste any here in America, but you know. Nobody's gonna laugh at my Hamas sauce joke. Well, that's okay. It's not my new favorite condiment or anything, but
I'm not touching your sauce, man. I'm just saying.
yeah. So I to be honest with you, I mean, I wish the people, excuse me, I wish the people around Israel could get their stuff together, maybe have a combined allied force and take Israel out. I mean, these people are being, I mean, imagine being genocided and being called terrorists at the same time. These people are freedom fighters. They're fighting for their lives against Israel. I mean, it just, the difference between today and World War III is propagandic media. I mean, just imagine the Nazis wiping out all the Jews, calling them terrorists, and having the support of the rest of the world. Because that's what's happening today. Except for it's not Jews, it's Muslims, it's Arabs, it's you know, Palestinian, Assyrians. It's anybody who does not like the new quote unquote Israel state. You know, there's so much red tape here too, because Palestine is not even recognized as a nation by the UN. Which is why so many war crimes can be committed against them. On paper, Palestine is a terrorist state, although they are truly a nation. Okay? I want people to really think about that. Imagine if somebody came and took your ID, took your passport, said you are without a country now. You're an illegal alien. You have no rights. Not only do you not have rights, but you better get out of my sight before I kill you. And that's what's going on in the Middle East. Do I have a dog in the fight? I think we all do. Because if that can happen to these people, it's just a matter of time before it happens to you. Just a matter of time. Well, based on, especially where you put your allegiance to. if you have allegiance to your own sovereignty, your own freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of movement, then you will be an enemy of the state one day. That's a fact. I can only pray. I do have at least one team member out there in Gaza. Haven't heard from her in a week. I pray she's okay. She's a very important member of one of my teams. We wouldn't have TLB Talk right now if it weren't for her and her great work. So I hope everything gets, I at least hope she can get out of the country or she can get somewhere situated. But as of right now, I don't even know if she's alive. So I've had to move things around. I've had to move since I'm involved with several different media companies, most of which I have part ownership in. You know, I'm moving people around. I'm moving staff around, letting one company borrow from another. It's difficult. I shouldn't have to do this, but this is the reality. So that's my personal involvement. But you shouldn't have to need a personal involvement. Just understand that these people are the enemy. Okay? The state of Israel itself, the political and Zionist party. I'm not talking about the people as a race. I'm not talking about them as a religion. But as a political state, I mean, these people are going to bring about tragedies. Well, they already have, but they're going to bring about global tragedy that I don't think we'll be able to recover from. So, and I hope these people sue. They have lost their jobs, lost their internships. I hope they sue. Yeah, I don't see how it can happen. I mean, I know I've been self-employed most of my life, but you know, I Will Turbot, my former co-host of my show, throughout, I don't know, as long as I've known him, he had been hopping from job to job to job to job. His employers find out he has a radio show. Boom, he's fired. You know, I know there are some company policies that give them so much leeway, but still, First Amendment, in the United States, if you don't have the First Amendment, you don't have anything. Everything else falters underneath that. There needs to be some way people can have their own beliefs and still work where they need to work. The machine, I mean, they're literally taking people out of machine. The machine is supposed to take everybody to run. Everybody's supposed to have their own little place in the machine to make the whole damn thing run. It makes no sense to me. Would you go into your car and start stripping your engine apart because you have parts made by a brand that you don't like? No, you wouldn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe if you're extremely freaking rich and you can afford to do that and you actually have the time to do something stupid like that. But we as a society, I mean, we have to run, we have to work and cooperate together to run efficiently. But that's the problem. We have elitists running everything. There's so many undesirables out in the free world that they don't want around anymore. The undesirables. I don't know. I gotta stop here because I can rant about this all damn day. Person, I see this from back. Go ahead.
Well, V, unlike yourself, I don't have a dog in the fight, at least not directly. And honestly, at the end of the day, let's see, there was the Balfour Declaration, which England had signed over to make the Rothschild puppet masters the happy overlords that they are, or were, at the time. And after World War II, well, suddenly, isn't this just amazing? We're going to give this over for after what happened with Germany. Sorry, with Hitler's Third Reich, whatever the hell they are. And then enough Ukrainian Jews, of which I'm sure Zelensky is part of, because, well, he's not Christian or Orthodox in his belief system. That's fine, whatever. So I personally take no side on this one. I have no drive. I have no desire to get my emotions all wrapped up, because at the end of the day, I don't believe both sides of this fucking story. Who's telling the truth? Well, it's pretty fucking difficult. I mean, I don't trust the Canadian government. I don't terribly trust the Alberta government. I don't trust the U.S., well, the current U.S. administration. And I certainly do not trust any intelligence agency, because everyone's going to have their own spin on the whole damn thing. And my opinion is that the best thing that Israel has for now is to have Hamas and Hezbollah and whatever else that's out there to have their demon to justify their existence. Now, how many people actually have died in all of this? I don't know. And I'll be honest, I don't care. Now, with your employee, whatever she is to you, I do hope that she's fine. I genuinely hope for that. After that, it drops off a cliff. Now, again, I don't have a vested interest in what's going on over there, and I don't have a media empire in the fledgling stages of growing and developing. And I do genuinely hope that it works out for Evie. I really do. But I'm not getting drawn in. I'm not getting sucked in. I'm tired of my emotions being fucking manipulated for cause A, B, C, D, or Z, to kind of keep it Canadian. I don't trust the Trudeau government because of what he did 5 years ago by buying off the media, effectively turning Canada's mainstream media into a propaganda arm. So you'll have to pardon my skepticism of everything that's going on right now. And besides, at the end of the day, what happens over there is happening over there. Israel, Mossad, the deep state, whatever you want to call it, it more or less got flushed out, or it got brought to the forefront in Ukraine, and now it's moved to Israel. And don't be terribly surprised if no one gives a flying fuck what happens in Ukraine. I don't. And again, my grandfather ran out of that country. No, when he was born, he was initially Polish, the Ukrainian border, got reassigned after World War II. No, after World War I. And all of a sudden he became Ukrainian. He spoke Ukrainian as far as I know. I met the guy once, and I don't remember it very much, except that he lived in a dark, small, one-bedroom, if that, bachelor pad, and I think he made sure that I had a banana. That's it. That's all that I know. Do I have any emotional relevance to Ukraine? No. Genetic legacy? Yeah. Apparently I might even be Jewish at some point, going back into my history, family history. I don't know. I don't care. My concern at the end of the day is my son, my current spouse, my employment situation, and trying to prepare for the economic shitstorm that's about to come down on all of us, and to protect myself as much as I can. That's it. That's it. I'm not giving into any fear. I'm going to read what I will read on whatever channels on Telegram, and that's it. If everyone else and their dog wants to peacefully protest, which is perfectly fine for the powers that be when it's convenient, down in the middle of the swamp in DC, great. Go for it. Do it. I mean, there's the phrase of don't feed the trolls, and I'm not feeding the trolls. My emotional energy is going where I need to go, and I've gotten 2 signs to see the same 3 numbers repeat at random yesterday and the day before, and I have other things that I have to worry about, and this isn't it. This is not it. Not to say that there isn't going to be tragedy, but you know what? That's a whole bunch of soul contracts that are over there, and I've got my own things to worry about. So, if this upsets anybody, well, and that's all I've got. My apologies, Naroki, with everything that was going on my end. I don't know what the hell happened that I couldn't hear you. Did you go into topics C and D as well?
I did. V didn't.
Okay.
But we talked about your gimp suit fetish, though.
Well, of course, yeah, sure. Talk about the guy when he can't be around to defend himself. Fuck you, both of you, and the horse you rode in on. Shocker. Okay, so what exactly happened with the million-person march? Because I know that where I live, there were 2 guys that were apprehended by police because of comments that were made in regards to the march, and they were out there to support it, I guess, which they were against the pedos. I don't know.
Okay, well, what ended up happening is that most of the marches in Canada, I don't know why they went ahead with the one in Calgary, but most of them got canceled because it was, believe it or not, it was the Muslim community that actually got this whole thing kicked off. And, turns out that it doesn't matter what your particular faith is, you don't want perverts touching your kids. So
you leave the kids alone. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, I mean, what ended up happening is that you ended up getting this unprecedented level of cooperation between
Muslims and Christians.
Muslims, Christians, and Jews, and the first. They did try to pull the Nazi card. They did try to pull the Nazi card, and it didn't work. Mostly because Trudeau brought a fucking Nazi into the House of Commons like a day after the march. But I mean, what ended up happening is they were going to have another one, and it was going to be happening It was going to happen here just a couple of days ago, which is why you heard about it.
Yeah,
And what ended up happening is that the main organizers got together and they realized, like, well, no, we can't do that because what will probably happen is that the press or the government will probably send out somebody with a pro-Hamas or something like that, or pro-Israeli sign, and we'll start in a fight will start, and they will talk about
the provocateurs. Okay.
They might send out they would probably send out provocateurs, so they decided not to hold it. And it's not that I could really blame, because the government would. Well, look what they did in Ottawa, right? I mean, you know, with
the trucker protests and the mounted with the police on the horse and with that woman, and I still don't know what to make of that story.
Well,
that apparently got trampled.
They tried really hard to push the Nazi angle on that one. They tried to play the white supremacist angle on that one, and that was an easy one to defeat. But one of the deadest giveaways that this was all being set up is that there's a flag that was released on a private entrance to the Ridgew Canal, and it got liked by, and you're gonna like this, Jag. One of Jag Meat Sing's personal assistants was the first one to like it, and it turned out that
wow,
it turned out that particular entrance in Ottawa, the only way you can access that entrance is by security. Like, you have to be let in.
So much like that 20,000-pound door that is magnetically sealed in DC going into Capitol Hill can only be opened from the inside.
Yeah. So there's no way. So there's no way that somebody could have gotten in there with a Nazi flag unless they were let in.
So was the penetration with the WEF. And Jagmeet Singh being part of the WEF, Young Global Leaders, or whatever the fuck that group is called. Well, if that isn't fucking telling, I don't know what is.
So yeah, I mean, what this tells me, and this goes back to the mainstream media thing, is that it's like they just like, I mean, it's not like, I mean, this is, I'm going to quote the guy from Macroaggression, which I don't know why you haven't started listening to him, Rearson, but you're going to have to. He's like saying, he's putting around this messaging that they're putting out. It's not for people like you who listen to my podcast. It's for the people who are too busy or too dumb or want to stay ignorant.
Oh,
that's what it's for.
Yeah, well, I know more than enough of those people. I'm married to one, and that's why that's not gonna last. But anyway, sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, intelligence is, and look at, I mean, a certain individual with the initials PW. I mean, he's a smart guy, and he still won't back check. So, I mean, a lot of people want to just take the easy way out. And the whole thing about, and as far as the people getting doxxed and so forth, like I said, I brought up two examples. And what happened to Mia Khalifa as well. I totally forgot about her. Mia Khalifa.
Anyway.
Mia Khalifa is she's Lebanese, but I mean, she's probably got relatives in Hamas, in Gaza, right? So she came out with a pro-Gaza statement because she's Mia Khalifa, and she immediately lost most of her sponsorships over it, and it's sort of like,
I'm sorry, but this is what Napoleon is one of his most famous quotes is saying or stating, is that never interfere with your enemy when they're in the process of destroying themselves.
Well, I mean, here's the other thing too. I mean, Ethan Klein. Also, we've covered him from time to time. He's another fucking dishonest POS. But he also happens to be Jewish. And
Okay.
he's got relatives in the area, and he obviously, and I mean, I really honestly can't blame him, is supporting Israel. And it's like, I mean, okay, yeah, he's Jewish. I get it, right?
Yeah. Like,
He's had
well,
people. Let me finish.
Yeah.
He received death threats and threats to his family that are still in Israel if he did not switch allegiances. He's had to reduce his online presence significantly. And I mean, again, I don't like Ethan Klein, but I mean, I can't, in this particular case, I really cannot blame him for taking the side of the people that he's from, right? Like,
No,
I can't.
Yeah, no, and I'm in the same boat myself. Again, I have no dog in the fight. If I have anything that is Ashkenazi, I'll be honest. If I have any Ashkenazi blood in me, it's probably 5, 6 generations ago, and I have no fucking clue who they are, and I don't care. I'm more interested in being more Viking because I've got a feeling I've got ancestry from the Vikings that moved into Russia and settled or colonized out there as well too. So, I mean, again, pick your fucking battles. So, whatever goes on there goes on over there. I'm starting to move into what I need to do for my life now. And I'm getting the subtle signs now that there's more important things to worry about. And what's going on over there, that's someone else's fight, not mine. So, okay. And then the doxing. So this is the doxing. You're saying that that's happening on both sides of this conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, doxers are going to do what doxers are going to do. I mean, this is supposed to be against your terms and conditions in whatever platform you're on, and you're not supposed to do it. But when you allow your emotions to get the better of you, and we're all guilty of this, everybody, when you allow your emotions to get the better of you and you react versus responding, you're going to get the doxing. So you have to protect yourself as much as you can. So once the whole thing with Israel is settled down, or about halfway through that conflict, wherever the fuck that will be, don't be surprised that the emphasis is now going to be on Taiwan. So I will leave it at that. Victoria's Secret. Oh God. V, are you disappointed? Sorry. Okay, I got nothing more on the subject. Let's move on.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure V is quite disappointed about what Victoria's Secret did.
God.
So let me put the timestamp in. Captain Ahab has gone into deep mourning over this. Because I mean, he was making quite the living off the blubber of the fatties. Oh yes, Victoria's.
You know what? Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, listen, big girls need love too.
Yes, I know. Captain Ahab needed the money, but I mean,
V, when it comes to females, V, are you pansexual? You'll fuck anything with a pussy. Just
okay. Listen. Okay, listen.
Also,
I love women. Women, women are just, they're such beautiful creatures. You know, old dirty bastard had the saying. He said, you know, I love all y'all girls. Even the ugly girls are pretty too. So, you know, I just love girls. I'm always around women. Girls love me. It's funny because
Especially the ones not getting it. Anyway.
Well, there's a percentage of women I would date, and then there's a percentage of women I would just have a fling with. Guess which one of those is larger? Pardon the pun.
Oh, we're not intentionally including butterballs, right?
Oh
Listen,
my God!
you guys,
I wouldn't.
Hey,
I still have not gotten that image out of my head. Fuck you for sending it to me, Steve.
oh,
I make no apologies for bringing that image back into your mind, Naroki. Just saying, as a friend. And here at the Red Pill Nation Hangout, we have no fucking standards, and this is normal for us, just because we're guys.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I guess. If we're gonna add, listen. Okay, there's one caveat to this. Born natural female. Okay. Let's draw the line there. I'm not a bigot or anything. If you're able to get me, I don't know, drunk and trick me, I'm not gonna be mad the next day. My my cojones got drained. Hey, service for a service. I'll walk away. I'll do the walk of shame. But other than that,
as long as it brought enough lube, just saying.
Oh, up at Lake Louise, I saw a couple of guys have to do the walk of shame, and there was a certain individual whose name is RT. I'm sure the woman that slept with him was probably not her proudest moment. Rearson knows who I'm talking about.
Well,
you can't remember?
Just leave it at that.
RT.
I love women.
No, I don't remember. Tell me afterwards.
I typed it in the chat.
Okay, let's see what you got here. Oh my God. He actually got laid by a woman by the name of Elaine. And when I was there, he was still working at the Bean. So that was the the cafeteria for staff. And she, to put it mildly now, she ghosted him. And it was just one of those things that kind of going, he got laid? Him? Wow. Oh. Yeah, I remember about that. Oh, yeah, and the woman that he was intimate with, I'll leave it like that. She was the friend of one of my roommates who's actually, I should actually chat up with her because I haven't spoken to her in a little while. I should ask her. So, what did she say about RT? Just curious. I'll leave for that one. Oh my God.
That's probably one of those ones that you just don't want to talk about. Anyway, so yeah, in case you're wondering, because I never actually got to the point because V interrupted me and then we kind of went off on how V likes to bang hotties and I don't, and how some guy we used to know at the Chateau Lake Louise who probably
it almost seems like collectively we almost have a big case of ADD. I mean, yeah. Really. Let's call it for what it is.
Yep. So I mean, anyway, so Victoria's Secret is bringing back its angels. Yes, apparently, and this probably should come as no surprise. I mean, while women are beautiful, or women are beautiful at all sizes, apparently having 300-pound land whales that Captain Ahab rather eagerly, enthusiastically waited outside for to get his supply of whale blubber.
Because she can't move that fast. Much less really get out the door.
Let me put it this way. Okay, we're men. We like that deep.
Is it live? Yes.
Is
there a heartbeat? Yes. Is it live? Yes.
Okay. We also like trampolines, right? Well, combine the two. Don't you want a trampoline that you could stick it to at the same time?
Bring the flower.
Oh.
All right, I'm joking here. I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, apparently having Megan Rapinoe, for instance, and Megan Rapinoe's not a fatty, but she's pretty horrid looking as a model for Victoria's Secret. Apparently, they and this should come as no surprise, have lost billions of dollars worldwide, and their sales weren't going particularly well. And now that Les Wexman's also in legal trouble, they had to go back to what worked for them. I mean, they do get customers of all sizes in their store, so they've got sizes for everybody. They just don't want. They just smartened up and realized that they really figured out that Get Woke Go Broke is a real thing, and screw the ESG score. We're gonna bring back Victoria's Secret Angels, which is what they're going to do. Now, me personally, I mean, I have had I've had a woman or two that a little bit on the larger side. Here's the thing. I mean, it's not always necessarily about how they look, although that's very important for a guy. But the women that I like that were on the bigger side, they had a few things in common. One, they actually looked after themselves. Two, they didn't have shitty attitudes. And three, they were larger. They weren't morbidly fucking obese. So yeah, is it possible for women, maybe a little on the bigger side, to get guys? Yeah, it is. They might not get their pick of the litter, but I mean, if they do basically a little bit of hygiene and mind their manners, and act like decent human beings, I mean, they're going to get the interest of somebody. They might not get the interest. They might not get the male attention of, say, a Lenny Klum, for instance. But I mean, they'll get somebody, right? So yeah. And Captain Ahab also issued a statement. He is greatly saddened by this event. Although he is looking forward to going back out to sea to harpoon real whales. And
wait, hold on. What am I going to do this?
I don't remember your name being included in all of this, but hey, if you think that applies to you.
And his assistant Billy.
And his assistant harpoon that big whale blubber.
And his assistant Billy is finally happy that he's going to actually get to eat all of the Halloween candy instead of leaving it for all the large people. And
Billy's able to have some time off of the peg, but we'll leave that one alone too. Oh.
Dum dum da. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Does anybody else have anything more to add to this one? Because I think we had a good laugh on this one.
Actually,
well, it's a good thing that Victoria's Secret has plus size underwear. I mean, when I get a girl, no one can say that I don't take care of my women because I make sure they're well fed. Okay. Well, what do they call them now? Feeders? I'm a feeder. I'm going to make sure that you get all you can eat. Go Victoria's Secret. Go ahead, Rivers.
Okay, just bear with me here. I want to bring my son into this conversation. Oh, where is that god awful picture of the LGBTQ plus fucking picture from Victoria's Secret? No,
you let him know that it's okay to practice with fatties.
Yeah, we'll emphasize practice. Because what else are they going to be there for? Just to see what you can do?
Hey, when that super, super pretty thin girl lets you down, you got a fat girl that, you can cry on her shoulders. She'll pick you up and feed you, take you home.
Well, back in the day, she would have been able to pick me up because I was 135 fucking pounds wet. Thank God for my love of beer because I've been able to fatten up. But whatever. Okay, I'm gonna find that picture for the for that god awful picture of that has Megan Rapinoe and that big black chick and whatever else they had on there for the trannies and what? Oh, there's also an amputee on there too, if I remember right.
Yes, there was.
Any little people?
I don't.
Well, listen.
I'll split them apart.
Listen,
What happened? V was. She thought she could handle it. V went in there and that was it. She broke apart. Right up the middle.
Well, I can tell you what. I was watching. I didn't know. Okay, so we got the TVs that have their own. Well, they're smart TVs. You can get the apps of whatever networks and stream it, whatever. So there's this Lifetime show called Little People, and so Little People,
Big World.
No. It was like Little People of Atlanta. It was the Atlanta version. Two of the tiniest, cutest little girls I've ever seen. They're twins. And let me tell you, midgets are known to be improportional. These girls were proportional. I'm going to put it that way. If I could have twins actions, I'd pick them over normal twins. When you are nothing but tits and ass and big pretty smile, everything else is just filler anyways.
Oh my God.
Get right to it. Anywhere you touch her is ass or tits.
Let me see if I can extract my son here. Bear with me, gents. Bear with me.
Oh man. Hey, and I actually found something out. The rapper Pastor Troy was banging one of the midgets. I'm sorry. Ooh, little people. Sorry. Banging one of the little people. He was all denying it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try.
There was a pregnancy scare.
Okay. My apologies for stepping in here. I'm gonna do my best to bring my son into this topic later on, maybe at the end, just to get his opinion. Being a 14-year-old
on Victoria's Secret,
on the woke models.
Oh my God!
Now,
I'll have
full disclaimer. But if I'm able to do this with him, we really haven't talked all that much about what he finds attractive because I don't know. Because I'm having him develop and grow as his own person, and for him to figure out what he likes and what he doesn't like. So
I was allowed to do thing. Look what happened.
Well, I'm looking at them. I'm looking at them right now, and I don't know. I see the one model in the middle. It's a good thing she's in the middle because that kind of balances the scales. Just saying. Good God. Oh, fuck. So yeah, I'm gonna put a a bit of I'm going to come back with this and get a 14-year-old's perspective. So let's move on, gents. Let's move on.
Okay. This next one is really interesting, by the way. So, YouTube, and by the way, this, especially, I have started receiving messages on YouTube whenever I watch stuff on their channel saying, you appear to be using an ad blocker. you may not be able to use an ad blocker. You can use it by either A, removing your ad blocker, or B, subscribing to YouTube. And I'm like, you know what? I mean, what I might just be tempted to do, for instance, is start up a second MGTOW TV channel or a second channel on either Odyssey or Rumble, and just link it up. And if I want to just move something over as opposed to watching it on YouTube, that's what I'll do. Yeah, I mean, and it's getting ridiculous. But here's the neat thing about what happened is that, and I can't remember the guy's name, obviously. I'm going to have to look it up here. But he came out with, and you cannot get it, unfortunately.
Louis Rosman.
Louis Rosman. Louis Rosman came out with this app, which enables you to watch whatever video you want on whatever platform you want, regardless of whether it's YouTube, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, etc. And you don't have to worry about ads. You don't have to worry about subscriptions. You don't have to worry about censorship. You don't really have to worry about any of that stuff because that's all been eliminated. And it's like, well, Kelso was quite enthused. I'm quite enthused about it. I tried immediately to get it up here. You can't get it in Canada yet. I suspect that the Trudeau regime will be doing everything humanly possible to make sure that you can't get it here in Canada. I will try to figure, if somebody can figure out a way to get it, get the Greyjay app onto your phone in Canada so that I can start using that instead of having, because like, I mean, basically, you know, when I watch YouTube now, I get this posting. It'll stop. It'll stop. And it will say, you appear to be using an ad blocker. If you continue to use, it's basically, it's semi-threatening, telling you that I'm either going to have to pay a monthly fee or I'm going to have to remove the ad blocker if I want to continue viewing videos after a certain period of time. So, yeah. This Greyjay app gets around that completely. So I'm kind of looking forward to figuring out a way to how to get it and using it.
Is this a Canada thing?
No, this is the U.S.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. You might have some sort of malware on your computer. I don't get that at all.
Greyjay?
No, you getting the threatening messages about using ad blocker. I think you might have some malware on your computer. I don't get that. I have no problems using.
Well, they're rolling it out in regions. Like they're not doing it everywhere all at once. So, you know, I might be getting it, but somebody else down in the US might not be. Either way.
Well, how about if you use DuckDuckGo? Whenever I use DuckDuckGo and I happen to go to a YouTube clip, DuckDuckGo will ask you, do you want to watch it on YouTube or our DuckDuckGo player? If you use our DuckDuckGo player, you won't see any ads.
Okay, I haven't been using the DuckDuckGo. Or I'll have to try that.
Okay, I'm in the process to try to download this, but I'm not going through the App Store or Google Play or whatever. I'm going through ARM64 version 8A as a APK, I believe. So,
well, maybe it's a good thing.
Okay, you're talking about. I'm sorry, you're talking about cell phones. I don't. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any problems with the cell phones either. The general ad blocks work.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't have ad block on the cell phone. I do have it on the. I do have it on the laptop.
Okay.
The only thing I watch on YouTube. Well, I mean, I will if I'm in a cafe or whatever. I might watch a YouTube video on my cell phone. But for the most part, the only thing I will play on YouTube for the most part is usually the music videos that I save. Is usually the only thing that I will listen to on YouTube 90% of the time.
Looks like I got it to work.
Greyjay?
Yep.
On your phone.
Starting version 177, you must select your YouTube profile before the login window closes. For multiple profiles under one account, log out and re-log in to switch. Yeah. Again, I went through, shall we say, the website to download the APK, and then I had to allow it with Brave because that's how I was getting it. And for the most part, it's come up here with Mr. Beast and you want to talk about dogs, and we're gonna have to do this one as well too. SS Sniper Wolf is just a fucking bitch that's gone off the fucking deep end, but shocker, fucking woman.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, is that the link that you sent me on?
It would have been, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna consider adding that in. I'm just gonna wait. Well, I'm gonna let me see what I've got for topics.
Yeah. Look
I know what happened. She got a wrist slap.
She got called out, and she got the wrist slap because, well, Lord knows how many guys she filleted, fucking YouTube, or at least promised to fillet. But we'll leave that alone.
Tim Pool's got 2 topics next week. 338. He had Shank Uger on this week as well.
Chunky Yogurt? Really?
Yeah, he had Chunky Yogurt on, and it was like
God.
The cringe from that interview. Was just anyway. You're kind of getting off. So yeah, there's this new app. You're gonna have to when I go down to you or you come up to me, we'll have to figure out how to get the Greyjay app on it because I'm looking forward to.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But anyway, yeah. I mean, literally, I started getting that warning. YouTube. YouTube. Go ahead.
I've gotten the warning as well too. So now that this has come out, fuck them. I mean, okay. Well, I'll say what I need to say when I've got my time to say my piece. So anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm kind of looking forward to getting this app just because, I'm really getting. I mean, at some point, YouTube's luck is going to run out at some point. I mean, the only reason that they haven't really started going under is because TikTok is actually facing some serious opposition in the US, and they can't expand their time limit on their videos past 3 minutes. So one of the things that YouTube has got going for it is the fact that they've got the shorts section as well now, but they've lost a lot of their long content because they keep censoring everything. So all of that stuff has been going over to Rumble, Odyssey, or BitChute. They lost most of the shorter content is all except all that's gone over to TikTok, which I don't have and will never get. And but the one thing that YouTube does have going for it is the music videos. And about 70% of my time on YouTube is spent when I'm watching you. Well, actually, I don't even watch YouTube. I will just put. I got a separate channel. I got a separate saved list on my channel, which I have all my favorite music on. If I want to listen to music and not do it through Spotify, I've got a listening list on Spotify as well. But I mean, I will either go to YouTube or Spotify, and I will, for the most part, most of the time I just end up listening to music on YouTube, and I'm not even watching. I'm just listening to the music. So get around all the bullshit that YouTube is pulling and view everything through Greyjay. So much the better. And I gotta say, this is probably an app that was going to be coming at some point in time or another, this particular app could literally spell the end of the YouTube monopoly altogether. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, this is one of those things I've dealt with for a very long time. But those who know me know that if I have a problem, that problem does not last very long, and I find solutions. My early days of research, I would like to go to YouTube and, watch documentaries or watch college lectures, whatever. But this particular time, I was doing my research, I was being targeted by the government. So a lot of times, my internet would be cut off or interrupted, things like that, or just YouTube videos just simply would not load, or it'll play halfway and then forever stop loading, no matter what I did. So something I would do is I would go to a YouTube. I actually had a program called YouTube Downloader. All I had to do was put in the URL to this program, and it would boost. It would download the video from the website, and I can do that in mass. It could download like 50 videos at the same time. It had 50 slots. You can put in the URLs, and it would act like a torrent program. And then, I found like there was online websites that would do it, one video at a time, just put in the URL and download the videos itself. Now, that wasn't a problem for me. I had hard drive space. I could do that. But for those who don't have the hard drive space and all that, I just, at current, I've gone through the App Store. I have all kinds of I'm sorry, not the App Store, the extension store. You gotta go to your browser's extension store. Google has its own extension store. Depending on the browser, they'll have different extension stores. So my YouTube, I've got all kinds of options when I play a YouTube video. I don't even have to go to an outside website. I've got a button on YouTube that will download a video for me if I want it. Download the audio if I want it. It's very versatile. You just gotta just sit there and look. What you gotta understand what your needs are, and then look for the extension. So I don't have any problems as far as commercials, interruptions. I've got autoplay or an auto stop. I even got an extension that will triple the sound. It'll force the full sound capability out of your device. It'll triple some up to 6 times the sound out of a video. We've all come across those videos that have poor sound quality. There's extensions. Now that's on the computer. Now I don't have any problems with my YouTube on my phones either. Again, the App Store, just ad blockers. They're simple ad blockers that work. Now, I've never seen what you're talking about as far as YouTube trying to alert and threaten people. I've gone to websites, just various random websites when I'm trying to research. Some pages will say, hey, you got an ad blocker on. In order to view this material, you have to turn it off. And I'll just not go to those sites. Screw it. I'm not turning my ad blocker off. So a lot of times I'll get the information I need anyways, because you might have that box on the screen, but I'll still scroll. I'll just read, 2 or 3 sentences above that I need and scroll at a time. I don't need to view the full page. And in situations like that, there are, depending on the browsers you use, there are full page downloaders. So if you are visiting a website, it's nothing but text. There's a button, especially on Opera. You click on it and turn that entire website into a PDF. So there are ways around the BS. You just have to be able to sit and do a little searching and customize your feel for what it is that you need. And with that, I'll pass it on.
Well, as I said, I've gotten the same thing that Naroki has, and it's one of those things that's like, well, you got an ad blocker, and you're cutting off our income, and well, you aren't much by yourself, blah blah blah. Shut up, bitch. Just fucking shut up. Oh my god. Well, I'm starting to look at moving over to Rumble because that's really where YouTube's more direct competition. Let's call it for what it is, really is. And at some point, yeah, and as Naroki had said, it's the video content that keeps me on fucking CrackTube. I mean, I have downloaded my preferred Van Halen album. Shit, what the fuck was it again? It was before Diver Down. Mean Streets. Mean Streets, the first song. Fair Warning, that's what it is. Fair Warning. It's my favorite album. I've downloaded it, and I love playing it from start to finish. There's enough content now that I'm listening to that is more bringing the spiritual side of life into the human experience. I still have enough content that is Kevin Samuels, Aaron Cleary, Sandman, fucking woke modern women that are just off their goddamn fucking rockers. So I'm really starting to tailor what I need out of CrackTube. And for the most part, I'm pretty happy with what my selection is. Everyone's got their niche. Great, enjoy it. Live it, breathe it, eat, sleep, shoot, shit it out, whatever. Enjoy yourself. But now with Greyjay, and I'm going to play around with this. Fuck, oh my God. It will give YouTube an extended sense of life for me. But it's there. And I'm going to pick V's brain on what he does in terms of all of that with Brave or Oracle. Yeah, you said, no, Opera. Sorry, Opera. I've enjoyed Opera as well, too. I mean, it's my son's preferred browser. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. And
Opera GX, yes.
Yep, he's got GX. I haven't put GX on my computers, but I think I might start. And fuck, Lord knows I'm going to have to start fucking making... I'm going to have a fucking external hard drive for all that shit that I'm probably going to start to download and just rip it off. I mean, at some point, that's what YouTube is going to turn into. Like, it, if it isn't already. I mean, fuck. I remember back in the day, one of my favorite Canadian bands, Triumph, the drummer, who was the band leader, was on Global News, and he was complaining about people recording, with the dual cassette players, with ghetto blasters, if such a term is fucking politically correct anymore. But anyway. And I mean, this was this effectively would turn into what Metallica did to Napster. Anyway, at some point, YouTube is going to be.
You're showing your age.
Oh, I already know that, man. Shit, believe me. God.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're not sorry. Fuck you.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
Right.
No, and I called it for what it is. And ladies, if you can't understand why guys can insult each other, it's because you bitches are all taking it all fucking personal. It's an emotional. With us, it's water on a duck's fucking back. We don't care. When the bond is there, the bond is there. Anyway, when people start to get smart and they get tired of YouTube, I can see that YouTube is just going to be people are just going to start picking off, grabbing, downloading with whatever is possible out there. Things that I do like to watch. There's a guy called Chainbrain, lives in Northern Ontario, and he's a self-made guitar player. And he's played complete songs, or there was 1 2-hour. He was doing a podcast for a 2-hour podcast where he's playing, and it's songs in basically the best way they've been able to figure out is sequential order of events that happened in World War I by the Swedish band Sabaton. And shit like that, I love to watch it because I want to see how I want to play guitar, and for me to see what fret, what string is being played, and how the vibrato is being done, or tapping, or whatever the guitar technique is. I'm going to have to watch it. And he's entertaining. I mean, he said the same thing that I thought hearing The First Soldier, and it fucking, oh my God. It's like they took Safety Dance. You can dance if you want to, you can leave your friends behind, that sort of thing. And they turned it into what could almost be the unofficial French national anthem. And that was my feeling, and I wasn't the only person. I can pretty much guarantee you at least 25, if not 50% of the people that were watching it or heard it for the first time were thinking the same thing. I fucking heard this before, So, will YouTube be around? Yeah, it will. But if Greyjay gains the legs for what they're able to do, which is basically to effectively bypass all that shit, and until they figure out how they can block Greyjay, which I guarantee you they're fucking working on it, there's a potential there's a threat on the horizon. Deal with it now versus dealing with it later. Will it last? I don't know. But I'm going to give it a good shot tonight or today. I'll figure it out. And I'm going to go from there. And anything to fucking take YouTube and Google down a peg or two, fuck me, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So I got nothing more to say.
Oh, well, YouTube is eventually going to. Well, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot, and they got crappy. They got political bias. They got really extreme political. I don't know. I still haven't made up my mind about Sniper Wolf, but if this had been a guy doing this to a girl, that guy would have been permanently banned.
Yeah, exactly. There's the double standard to go along with it. I think I know what you want to say here, my friend, is that at some point when you, and thank you, because I wanted to bring this up as well too, when you're at the apex, at some point, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You get taken down from first place down to second. Once you go down to second, it may not take very much for you to go down to third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Maybe you'll stay within the top 10.
Well, I mean, here's the situation. I mean, there's this one channel on Facebook that I will watch, and the videos, and it shows like the top seller. And what usually happens is that somebody stays on top, and they stay on top. Sometimes they stay on top for a while. And what eventually happens is that somebody just kind of creeps. Sometimes they come up fast, sometimes they come up really slow. And then they knock the person off. And then once that person gets knocked off, that person who's now was first now is second, and you will see them usually plummet fairly quickly after they lose that position. And I mean, it's like the reason why they're doing this is because they need people. They need people to watch the ads. This is all about, like, everything that YouTube has been doing recently has been about revenue, which kind of suggests to me that they're not as financially sound as they appear to be. And again, it's probably because they keep doing it to themselves. Like Rumble is now 10%, 10 to 15% the size of YouTube. The very fact that the British government, when they made this request about Russell Barron just a couple of weeks ago, they sent that letter to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Rumble. The fact that they included Rumble in that list is basically a de facto acknowledgement that Rumble is part of that group now. Right? And it's like, it's not going to be very long. Well, I mean, not part of that group, but I mean, basically
they'll be part of that group whenever they start getting the cease and desist, because there's going to be an all-out war eventually.
I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to say that in the first 6 months of next year, there is going to be a really severe attack against Rumble to try to get them to knuckle under before the election.
Okay, I'm going to say something right now as well, too, in regards to Rumble. Rumble's based in Toronto. How long do you think it's going to take?
Florida and Toronto.
Florida and okay. Well, Florida makes sense. We'll see. I guess maybe Rumble will probably play the opportunity of convenience politically when it comes to censoring.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is going to be, that's basically what they tried to do with Russell Brand. They used Russell Brand as an excuse to try to smear Rumble, right? When we get to the end of the year, we start making predictions or guesses for next year. There's going to be an extremely hard attack against both X and formerly Twitter and Rumble, to try to get them to knuckle under before the election, because Joe Biden will not be able to win without the help of social media, and he's not going to win anyway. But I mean, yeah. So yeah, Greyjay, and again, right? It's some Raging Golden Eel said this about Google back in 2017. It's death by 1,000 cuts, right? They lose They lose 1 million here. They lose 100 million there. They lose 1 billion here. And it's like, oh, well, we don't care. We're freaking huge. And the next thing you know, and the same thing's happening with YouTube, is death by 1,000 cuts, right? Crappy customer service. What?
Or Disney.
Or Disney is death by 1,000 cuts, right? And it's like, and finally they did like what Disney did. They chose to take a stand against DeSantis over the quote. Didn't even have the word gay in it, which is ironic because the next topic is about what happened in Saskatchewan. Don't say gay, Bill. And I mean, what ended up happening is that because they took that stand, I mean, they were already in trouble with their film department, their movie department, but they were able to offset it with their with their resort sales and their car in Disneyland and Disneyland Florida and whatever, and they pissed off half the population. So now their parks are not doing very well now either, because people have stopped going to them. So now they're hurting everywhere, and they're going to have to start selling assets off. And I personally can't be happier about it. And if Greyjay does remove some of that monopoly that YouTube has, so much the better. YouTube is either going to have to get with the program and stop kissing BlackRock's ass, or they're going to go the way of Disney. And that's all I got to say. Do we want to move on to the next topic, since I talked about what happened with Disney, and it just conveniently leads into the next topic?
Yeah, let's move on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Deep.
Okay. Okay, this next topic happened in the province next door. The province next door, which is Saskatchewan, has an even further to the right government than we've got here in Alberta. What Scott Moe did in Saskatchewan is he passed a Parents' Bill of Rights, and he went ahead and basically gave the middle finger to Trudeau and invoked the notwithstanding clause on this particular bill, so Trudeau couldn't overrule it.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck.
So, yeah, it was a parental bill of rights. What this bill effectively does is that if a student tries to get their pronouns changed or discuss his gender surgery or anything like that, or if the teacher exposes the student to anything like that, the administration, or if they try to smuggle, they basically try to bring in these quote unquote gender affirming books into the school system, the school has to let the parents know. You would have thought that hell on earth opened in Regina. There were protests everywhere, and it's sort of like, sorry, why do you want parents to not know this stuff? Like, is there something that you're trying to hide? It's very clear what the protests were all about. To nobody's surprise, the NDP led the charge against us. Oh, by the way, I will actually get back around. I didn't say anything.
Sorry, my question about the NDP. No, we're not questioning about vagina. It's Regina. Okay.
Regina.
Okay.
Regina, Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay. I thought you said vaginas. I was going to say vaginas are going crazy.
No. Okay, close enough. Okay. Did you watch the first Deadpool movie?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you remember what Ryan Reynolds has to say about the all-star rookie quarterback?
Refresh my memory.
Well, basically, he's from Regina, Saskatchewan, the city that rhymes with fun.
There you go.
A totally Canadian reference. And fuck me, I loved it. And I'm pretty sure every Canadian that heard that in the theater just busted a fucking gut. So if Regina's going to do anything smart, they should have some sort of a Deadpool monument, mural, statue, fucking whatever. Something related to that.
Yeah, Deadpool is from Regina, Saskatchewan. Just remember that, folks. So yeah, there were huge protests about this. Not strangely enough, not surprisingly, led by the NDP. Like, there were actual MLAs like posting up stuff. Scott Moe is evil. Scott Moe is this, and I hope Scott Moe. The usual stuff on Twitter. My response is, "Oh, poor babies! You can't teach 5-year-olds in school about gay butt sex anymore. I feel sorry for you."
Felching. Oh God. Oh.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you're going to see more of this. I mean, once Ron DeSantis passed this bill, it was only a matter of time before somebody else did, and you're going to see it happen. Like, I mean, eventually Daniel Smith has been kind of hesitant to enter into this field. Daniel Smith is going to have to do something like this in Alberta as well. And even if she doesn't, there's going to be multiple school boards in Alberta that will pass stuff like this, because it's getting
it's really starting to get out. And then, I mean, like the protests in Saskatchewan. I mean, like, why do you guys want access to kids that badly? Right? Like nobody wants to ask. Like they never answer that question. Like, why do you want access to someone else's kids that badly? And it's like, and again, right? We've covered this before, right? We had a situation in Colorado where the teachers union there, like, didn't put out an electronic, but basically was passing around via word of mouth how to get around the electronic registration so that they wouldn't have to tell the parents that they were asking the kids about their pronouns. They've tried sneaking. There's a case in West Virginia where they tried that. So yeah, they've been trying to sneak, or in some cases, right, like what's going on in BC, they're just openly putting it in and daring people to stop them. So, SOGI, that's what it's called. And yeah, you're going to see more situations like this come up. And the other situation about this, yeah, oh yes, that's right. I was going to talk about the NDP here. And this is kind of going off on a bit of a side tangent because I wasn't going to cover this because I ran out of space this week. The NDP had their national convention in Hamilton this week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. And everything that you would have thought of about a far left political party that happened, you would think of the insanity that you think. Remember the Democrat? We didn't discuss that Democratic Socialists presidential party convention in San Francisco back in 2020, where you had, oh, please don't use gendered language on the floor. Like literally, almost like there was like open calls of support for Antifa. There was multiple situations where, at least 2 or 3 anyway, because they got recorded, where somebody was told to sit down and shut up because they were a white male. So, like and by the way, they actually had to call in the police because things were getting that heated. And I got to point out that Jagmeet Singh got 80% support for his agenda. So, Jagmeet Singh is not going to be getting removed at any point. And if what I saw from Rebel News, keep in mind, it was Rebel News, so they've got a very particular political slant. But it's like the stuff that they recorded on the floor was just like, wow. Like, I got nothing. So, using that as a backdrop, the very fact that the NDP is so happy and willing to back up what are very obviously pedophiles that want access to kids.
It's the penetration.
Enough for me
the penetration. Sorry.
It's enough for me to probably potentially never, you gotta understand, I was, up until 2019, I was a traditional new NDP voter, right? And the way it's going right now, I can't honestly see myself ever voting for them again. The fact that they've been the chief political they've been doing everything they can to stall this bill, and of course it didn't stall because Scott Moe, and I think he knew what was going to happen. So he knew, but the fact of the matter is that they're willing to fight this hard to make sure that parents don't find out that teachers are attempting to do this is kind of disturbing. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Teachers unions. the Million Person March. One of the people that, like, I mean, there's rumors floating around that in some places, like, the teachers actually allowed students to leave school and would give them credit if they showed up protesting the Million Person March. So, I mean, the opposition at the Million Person March was artificially inflated by teachers' unions in Canada. Teachers' unions. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
By Dylan Mulvaney's nutsack, you shall not block this bill.
Is that a set of sweaty white nutsacks? Just asking.
I don't know.
You set them up. You set it up. I'll add to it anyway.
Well, you know, it was a mouthful. What can I say?
Maybe I can't say, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to say.
Well, and by the way, is gay butt sex? Is that PC? I mean, you're taking me back to junior high here. To say gay butt sex.
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Well, Rocky just started his tangent with gay butt sex. I've been laughing since.
Ladies and gents, who might actually be listening, here at the Red Pill Nation Hangout, the opinions expressed are not necessarily that of blah, blah, blah. Please try to continue.
Well, okay. Well, you know, gosh, I was constantly being harassed by my teachers in a good way and in a bad way. You know, whether I'm doing, if I get mad and I call a teacher something other than, you know, a child of God, you know, my parents heard about it. The teachers would get on the phone and say, you know, I've been a bad boy. You know, even when I'm doing good, you know, I'm head of the class, whatever, as far as grades and stuff like that, you know. What?
Were you spanked for that?
Man. No, there was no spanking in my household. I had to sit beside myself and watch the life force strain out of my body as I was beaten.
I wasn't asking about your home, just asking about school. Just saying.
No.
Just
Okay. At school? No. I was cool at school. But no, even when my parents got the good phone calls, you know, oh, he's doing great. He's head of the class. Yeah. But yet there are these situations in which, all of a sudden the student has privacy. Oh, like when slutty Mary Sue gets pregnant at the age of 14. No. The school can't call about that. No. Absolutely not. No, she has the privacy. She has the right to privacy to her doctor and to get an abortion without the parents even knowing. Right? So now we have, and there was also this. It was mandatory for these teachers, if you were hyper or maybe mentally different. Oh no, these teachers are reporting on you. Guess what? You're on Ritalin. You're on drugs now. Because they're so quick to report that. But yet, forget being hyper. If you think that you, quit. I mean, forget being mentally, slow and disabled. Which these things you have to report on. But if a person shows up to school and identifies as a cat, no, no, it's okay. This person identifies as a sex in which they are not. No, that's okay. Listen, I've showed up to school wearing some stuff before and being sent back home to change clothes. Okay, having being extremely athletic, having a bronzen body of an Adonis. I get caught wearing what's called my little brother's T-shirt. Everybody's intimidated or sexually charged, and I gotta get sent back home to find a bigger T-shirt. But now we have these fat, disgusting slobs with their man boobs wearing dresses, and that's okay now. Do you see a problem? Do you see the contrast? Do you see a problem here? I was shut down from showing off my male beauty long before this idea of toxic masculinity, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's okay to just being this beta male, not understanding who you are, cross-dressing, and going to school. That's okay now. And not to tell the parents. So what do we have in common here, this agenda? Through all this, you have the government screwing with the kids in any way they want to, whether the parents can co-sign on it or not. We need to understand the government's agenda and take away their power to even dictate on such matters. This is issues that start at home and should go to the school boards and ends there. The fact that your federal government is even entertaining any of this means there is a much deeper social engineering going on, and it is not for our benefit as a people, but for the benefit of the government. With that, I will pass it on to yours.
Well, you're not going to pass anything up yours, and I'm just going to say that right now. All right.
Up, down, and around the corner.
No. No, not with you.
Hey, my marriage proposal is still active.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with your marriage proposal. As much as I hate to say it, it can be done. It could be done. And hey, you know what? And we have known each other for the past 2 fucking years. Not there's going to be any fucking between the two of us, unless she likes being spit roasted. But we'll leave that alone. Or she likes 2 out of 3 holes at any one point in time being used.
Hey, look, man. There's a reasons why aliens have not abducted me. All right.
We can't close. What the fuck is that? Oh my god! And he likes the larger women. We don't get it. You don't have any fucking sex drive, aliens.
I'm a saint. I take the big girls off your hand. You should worship me as a saint.
Oh, so you're one of the you're the top 5%, maybe 2, that's keeping those bitches delusional. Okay, fine, whatever.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh,
That's what
fuck. Wow.
All right.
I would love Pearl to listen to our podcast just to see what her reaction is. For fuck's sakes. Oh my
God, I
God.
love that.
Oh, she's great. She's great. She really is. Anyway. Well, I was watching something on Telegram, and my favorite pro-pedal network, NAMBLA, with whom Oswald Patton, or Patton Oswald, that little fucker that was on Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's the only reason I know that little bastard. He's apparently a proud member of NAMBLA. I think he's tried to delete that, but thanks to the going back in time, or the time machine with the internet, you can't take that off anymore. And their central organization disbanded, but their ultimate goal is to normalize pedophilia. And believe me, I wish I was making this shit up. The idea that someone wants to take my son, Trudeau or Oswald or fucking whoever else, disturbs me to no end. No fucking end. So now that the NDP have exposed themselves as being pro-pedophile in Saskatchewan, and that shit had better start to take, well, yeah, I mean, as Naroki said, here in Alberta, that puts a lot of pressure now on Danielle Smith to walk the walk and talk the talk, or else, if she doesn't do it, some other political up-and-comer will do so, and I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes an electoral campaign point. And if she doesn't jump on it right away, well, I've got mixed feelings towards her as a political leader. I think she's more the fact that she's the fact that her fishtail, shall we say, moves back and forth between the left and the right and left and the right and left and the right with whatever's more convenient is, or shall we say, between what the average individual wants, the average Albertan wants, to what potentially are her puppet masters telling her to do. Well, her job is to basically show how lopsided politics really are. And that at the end of the day, you've got both wings on the bird, politically speaking, and they're both keeping that bird up, shall we say. It's I can't see this going anywhere in terms of British Columbia, because those fuckers are those, as a province, they're in their own fucking bubble. Oh my God. And yet I'm going to be going to another bubble called Seattle in a couple of weeks. So actually, V, if you're going to be kind of if you could swing your way up to Seattle in, around the weekend of November 9th, maybe we can meet up. Maybe not. I don't know. If you can.
Possible.
Well, I mean, if we can, great. But I mean, Saturday and Sunday, I'm busy. I'm busy with the recital, and then I'm busy with the actual wedding reception. So anyway.
Seattle's not too far from where I am.
Really? Fuck.
Well, I'm in Northern California.
It's not that far away. Don't know much about the room that I'm going to be. I've got a room right across from Google, right downtown Seattle. So we'll see. We'll talk about this later, or message each other. We'll see how it goes. Anyway,
Cool.
This really is not something that's surprising at the end of the day. I mean, Florida became the tip of the spear. And in Canada, Saskatchewan basically charged ahead. And I think we're going to see which governments do and do not support this. Now, in terms of immediate political followings, I don't know much about Manitoba. Or, sorry, People Toba, depending upon if you're aligned with Ottawa or not, because you can't say man anymore. But will Manitoba follow suit first, or will it be Alberta? I'm hoping it's going to be Alberta. I really am. But if we don't, we don't. Do I see this gaining traction elsewhere within Canada? Overall, Ontario is a CNO, conservative in name only, as far as I'm honestly concerned, and we've brought that name up before, Hiroki and I. Quebec, oh fuck, don't get me started. Quebec is probably the most corrupt province in all of Canada, or shall we say state. And then going out to the Maritimes, the East Coast, I could see maybe New Brunswick, because the premier, or shall we say the governor at the time, who was independent, he basically said, look, we want to do things our own way, but we have too much financial incentive federally that there's no drive. There's no reason for us to do any more than we don't have to. And if the premier at that time had that kind of inclination, I can pretty much guarantee you that he's probably socially conservative enough that enough of the province would have just kind of said, yeah, you know what, let's do it. You got the right idea, go for it. But it's not there. So that would come down to maybe either Nova Scotia or Newfoundland, depending on how you want to say it. But yeah, British Columbia, fuck, those fuckers are out to lunch. They really are. So I don't know. Right now, we'll see. I mean, this is something I completely and totally agree with, but each province will show its true colors in terms of the administration. So I don't have much more to say. So, Narogi, back to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're going to see, like, I mean, next year, like, when we get to the show at the end of the year, we start to make our guesses as to what speculations as to what's going to happen in 2024. June of next year is going to be very, very wild, because I mean, by that point in time, the Democrats will have probably tried to pull a George Floyd Part 2. So they will have attempted to roll out Antifa and BLM to start the riots again. The only problem is that, I mean, everybody's going to be ready for them this time. So when they start to roll these people out, what's going to end up happening is you're going to see like legit political violence. And this time, when people hold their ground against them, like, they're not going to have, like, when the Soros-backed prosecutors attempt to prosecute these guys for holding the ground to them, they GoFundMe won't have the ability to block these guys getting funding because everybody is going to go through give, send, go. So I mean, basically, what's going to happen is that they're going to try to pull the same stuff they did in 2020. But everybody's going to be ready for them this time. But anyway, let's get on with the next topic here because like I say, I want to be done early enough to actually I'm awake now. I'm through crashing, but let's get on to the next topic here. So the next topic involves Alex Jones. It's becoming very, keep in mind, I was never a huge fan of Alex Jones, but I mean, they made this huge court settlement against him, and then they denying him bankruptcy protection. And when they did a audit of his assets, they included his cat. So it's very, very, very clear that this is just an all-out witch hunt. And I'm thinking what's probably going to happen is one of two things. I mean, it's very clear what they're trying to do is they're just basically trying to, and it's not going to work, right? Because if you get rid of Alex Jones, all you're going to do basically is the same sort of thing that would happen if you tried to do this with Andrew Tate or Donald Trump. All you're going to do is make a martyr out of him, right? The fact that they denied him, I mean, it's very, very clear he doesn't have $1 billion, right? He just doesn't. Hold on a second. So, but they denied him bankruptcy protection, and it's sort of it's very obvious what they're trying. I mean, he probably has money stowed overseas, so I mean, he's gonna end up being just fine anyway. But I mean, the aim of this is to basically make him destitute, which isn't going to happen. But I mean, I'm having to imagine at some point, in particular, if Trump ends up back in the White House, which is a very legitimate possibility, that Trump potentially intervenes in his behalf. Because I mean, it's very clear. I mean, yeah, there are some very curious things that happened around Sandy Hook, but I never got too involved in it. But you want to know what else too? There's some very weird stuff that happened at Uvalde as well. I'm not going to get into for instance, they knew that kid at Uvalde because they had a monitoring system at the school, and they knew that he wasn't all there mentally. And somebody is going to have to explain to me how a mentally unstable Hispanic kid working part-time at Wendy's somehow was able to afford a brand new truck and multiple new weapons to go on the shooting spree beforehand. Now, you might say it because of his grandparents, but I mean, how is it that the FDA was on scene almost immediately when it happened? They got there before before the press got there. A number of inconsistencies about that event. But I'm not a big fan of Alex Jones, but I don't hate the guy either. The show is going to go on. And Alex Jones might have to move into a smaller place, but I mean, they're not going to be able to destitute him. If they try to force him into being completely destitute, he will just simply take his show and move to a country where they won't be able to extradite his funds. There are ways around this, right? They're not going to get Alex Jones to shut up. The only way they're going to get Alex Jones to shut up is to put a bullet in his head, right? So kind of a little bit surprised that they would deny him bankruptcy protection, though. But I mean, again, right? I mean, he probably should have maybe. Here's the thing. The whole basis of what they're doing this on is because there's a few unhinged individuals who are listening to Prison Planet who went over and harassed the parents of some of the kids that got killed at Sandy Hook. At no point did Alex Jones actually send them over, though. So, yeah, there's going to be an appeal on this. Again, all they got, like, I mean, say if Trump ends up winning in 2024, I mean, he's going to have to do some type of an intervention on Alex Jones, I'm thinking. But again, like, it's becoming very clear, regardless of whether you like or dislike Alex Jones, that this is an attempt to just completely destroy him. And what V was saying earlier tonight, if this happens to him, it can happen to anybody. I mean, you should be keeping that in mind, in particular on this issue. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah. Well, sorry. So Alex Jones. It would be nice if he could declare bankruptcy, because in 7 years he can start making his own money again and get rich just as quick as he got rich before. It's like nothing ever happened. That's the thing about bankruptcy. So you got the 7-year grace period where nobody can really debt you for anything. You can't really get anywhere because you have no credit and no money. But that stops after 7 years. People don't understand that. So 7 years is not a lot of time. He's fallen. He can get back up very quickly. So what they're trying to do is extend that 7-year time indefinitely. Keep him broke, keep him destitute, keep their hands on his pocket. Which, this is violating his rights. I don't know how they are actually able to deny this due process of declaring bankruptcy. Especially as long as this is taken, I mean, he should have started this bankruptcy process as soon as he was found liable for the Sandy Hook stuff. So I don't know who his lawyers are. He has bad counsel. I don't know who's helping him run his company, but he's got bad counsel. I mean, I know to do this stuff. I mean, at the same time, he could ignore these people. And again, after 7, I think maybe even 10 years, they can't do anything to him. They can't keep their hands in his pocket. Now, if he has entered in some kind of agreement to be paying off this $1 billion, then he might be kind of screwed. And as far as from what I see, he was so scared in that trial. I've never seen a man turn into a child. I mean, it looked like a small child that just got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. I've never seen a grown man look so afraid up on that witness stand. And he probably entered in some kind of payment agreement with these people, which is not what you're supposed to do. When you get sued and you don't have the amount of money that you were sued for, you enter bankruptcy. So that's the only thing I can think of as far as them not letting him enter into bankruptcy, is because he was so scared he entered in some kind of a payment plan, some kind of agreement to pay something at some point. And that's all I can speculate on that. Go ahead.
Listen, you're up.
Yep, I know. Just the settings with the microphone and the web page. All right. Within the Q or the non or truther community, Jones has been pointed out for being deep state asset, shall we say. Now, I haven't listened to him in a long enough time. It's probably been about 4 years. And I did revere the man. And I've walked away from him as well, too. Considering the theory that he's, whatever that fucking comedian was. Can't remember his name. Bill Hicks. Yeah. His teeth look pretty damn similar, and that's something you can't really change. Not without extreme cosmetic surgery. Is he? I don't know. I can't say. But the evidence presented in the video 2 or 3 that I've seen, it leaves a lot of shadow of doubt. My opinion, take this however you will. My feeling about Jones is that he was, and I still feel that he's an imposter, doppelganger, whatever you want to call it. And going under that assumption and that pretense, I've got a feeling that he was basically given a choice of, well, you can work with us to expose the deep state, or we're going to take you out. Not the greatest of options, but that's my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know. And if he was given a choice, I think that this is basically what's going on here, is that you're going to get sued into oblivion. Because at the end of the day, if the deep state wants to take out a current or soon-to-be former president of the United States, well, you know what? Then let's show the average individual what could happen to them if. Now, I already referred to this earlier today, tonight, whatever, with the second million person march for children, or whatever you want to call it. And there were 2 guys that were picked up on the Calgary Transit, on the tram, on the what we call the C train, because someone didn't like what they had to say. And they will have their day in court. They'll have to basically defend themselves.
But when I'm using the C train, I don't pick up any dudes.
I don't know if we're talking about the cock train or the cunt train. Don't matter to me, because I ain't riding on that one either, man. I ain't riding on that. I love you, man. I really do. I love the banter between the 2 of us, because fuck, it makes the show that much more interesting.
Oh, hey, you set him up, I'll knock him down.
Hey, you know what? We do that to each other, and that's part of the fun that we have with each other. And I'm pretty sure, and you know what? I think that's part of the reason as to why that I was your preferred fan favorite, shall we say.
Oh yeah, Narvian, yeah.
And you know, and if we do meet up in the Washington-ish area, we'll have to go over that too. Anyway, point being is that if they go after Trump, they can do it to anybody else. And with Jones, with his opinions and whatever else, my opinion is that this is to wake people up to kind of go, well, yeah, you didn't like Jones, you hated the guy, but if he gets denied due process, what the fuck do you think they're going to do for you? Because you're going to be nobody, and there's going to be nobody important that's going to stand up for you. Like, there's one guy that I worked with when I was at Shaw, Rogers, and he's in my opinion, he's a full-blown left-leaning libtard, absolute fucking libtard. couldn't stand Jones and this and that, the other thing. And when he was found guilty on Facebook, the guy was fucking dancing on the guy's future grave. If he could find it, he would have done it. If I was to reach out to that, and he's smart, like he really is an intelligent guy, but just the issue is that, well, he's part of the left because I guess he just doesn't like conservatism, or he doesn't like being held accountable, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I just found him to be, and Naroki, you're gonna fucking laugh at this one, but I found him to be just very arrogant with his intelligence, with his perception of everybody else, and no doubt it was a case of him. It's like, well, here I am on the left, and I'm trying to speak up for people that don't have a voice, and whatever the usual bullshit that the left will rationalize and justify for themselves. And believe me, he fucking hated Trump. Oh my God, did he ever hate Trump? But that's a common thing here up in Canada. Fucking, well, pardon me for speaking on it, for taking an equal point of view, looking into the mirror, crossing the political divide, to be pointing the finger at the left, kind of going, you fucks don't know any better. And I fully admit it. I don't know if he can, but I will at least say just like, yeah, well, your arrogance on the left, I'm gonna throw that shit back at you from a more right-leaning perspective. Yeah, you may not like Jones at all. In fact, you can hate him as much as you want. But if they do that to him, what about you? What are you going to be able to do to defend yourself if, heaven forbid, the political speak goes onto the right side of the political aisle, and all of a sudden you're now a target? You're going to be screaming for protection for this, that, and the other thing. Now, I might be right. I might be wrong. I think I'm leaning more towards being correct. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I might be wrong. I might be correct. And I'm thinking I'm more correct. But again, if they can do this to a former president of the United States, the, quote, most powerful person in the free world, and we're not free, folks, not with this current system, we're all fucking slaves. You just have your levels of, not reality, but you have your different levels of realization or comprehension as to where you are within the grand scheme of it all. And for a lot of people, that person I worked with, my father, and everybody else that basically just wrote me off on Crackbook because you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, you know what? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just telling you, I'm more inclined to tell you what's going to happen within 2 years, if not maybe 3, 4, 5, whatever. Because all you are is that you're focused on what's right. You're part of the pack, the herd, whatever. And you're just going forward, and you're not really thinking any more than you don't have to. Maybe your next paycheck, maybe your next mortgage payment, maybe your next review, which might be 6 months to a year down the road. That's it. That's as far as your forward thinking is. And for the most part, with those people now, I'll leave them alone. I have nothing more to say because, again, I've lost people on Crackbook trying to wake them up, and they didn't, or didn't want to, whatever the case may be. When the time comes that I'm done with my spouse, and it's very soon. And again, it comes down to it being, she followed suit, she got in line, she got my son in line for the poke, the jab, what do you want to fucking call it? And things were already rocky at that point to begin with anyway. So it all depends on your level of awareness, perception, because, you know, as Seven Up had said way back when, perspective is everything. You know, your awareness, your perception, and your ability to process what's going on now, what happened in the past, and how is this going to look like in the immediate to the far enough into the future. So that's all I'm going to say on this one. So, Naroki, back to you.
Back to me. Okay.
Well, I'm not coming back to you, so don't. We're not going to go there. Fee, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Anyway, no gimp suits here, baby.
Hey, I'm just gonna say it. No, I'm not the jealous type.
No, you're just gonna plow your way through it all.
That's what she said.
Are you gonna be like Mickey Mouse making the cheese, making the holes in the Swiss cheese wedges? Just asking.
Okay. All right, folks. So yeah, we daily
Disney.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right. So I haven't brought this up because I mean I didn't think it was important enough. They are literally going they botched the Snow White so badly. Like so badly that there's been a rumor floating around that they've removed Rachel Zegler and they have to go back and do huge numbers of reshoots.
Oh no. Okay, my apologies to step in here, my friend. I've seen on not Nerdrotic or Midnight's Edge, something like that. And there's a picture of Rachel Zegler, and there is 7 CGI dwarves surrounding her. So they are probably only she's on her knees. Only she's on her knees. But then you can always elevate them and just kind of, you know, let shoot it out and let gravity take over at that point. But no, Snow White is going to be delayed at least a year. And please, 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 please tell me that we're going to be talking about the Panderverse.
The what verse?
The Panderverse. South Park.
Oh, I've been thinking of putting that in. I haven't actually.
You have to, because the Panderverse in South Park roasting Kathleen Kennedy is currently 8. Google searches is that the Panderverse or whatever was South Park with this is trending 8 times more than Star Wars or Kathleen Kennedy with Google searches.
I've got a few things I gotta have to research on here because tonight. I mean, I got 4 topics so far. I've got
okay.
I got Sniper Wolf. I've got South Park. I mean, it's sort of like I'll figure it out here.
I'll shut up.
We've got a while to figure it out here. I'm still trying to. I have to. This is the thing. I mean, we're having shift change today. I was told by my boss that my schedule my time and finish time and start time might be changing, which is why I haven't officially laid a time yet for when we're going to be doing the next show.
Okay, fair enough.
I will know as of tomorrow, and then I will finish. Then I'll get all the topics finished. But I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. But getting back to the original Daily. Oh, Disney. Oh yeah, Disney lost their shit over the South Park. Kathleen Kennedy lost her shit. Oh well. I mean, they did it to themselves Daily Wire, who I'm not, because Daily Wire recently decided to take a run at the manosphere and completely botched it, which is something that happens when just what anybody tries to take a run at the manosphere these days. But they decided to come out with a version because Disney does not actually own the rights to Snow White. They own the rights to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but they don't own the rights to Snow White. And because Rachel Zegler has done such a wonderful job in helping promote this movie to the point where she probably has more or less gotten herself fired from it. And also Hunger Games apparently is not doing particularly well either. So, I mean, that is now 5 movies now that Zegler has, let's see, West Side Story, the new Shazam movie, the Hunger Games movie, and this one. That's 4 movies now that she's been in, and she hasn't, like, none of them have done well, and yet they keep trying to promote her as an next. And I'm not going to get into all the detail, but anyway, Daily Wire figured out that Disney left themselves wide open. So why don't we just make a version of Snow White? And they put, of all people to star in it, Brett Cooper. Now, Brett Cooper has got a strangely high following in the manosphere, even though, I mean, Brett Cooper is, well, Undead Chronic thinks that Brett Cooper is mid. If I looked at her from women her age, I would probably give her about a 6. Hold on a second. She's maybe a 6, maybe a 6.5. But I mean, for me, I mean, yeah, when you start going on that rating scale with women, it's sort of like, well, what scale are you using? Are you using women in the fertility bracket, or are you using all women, or are you using women that are, just in their 20s? It's sort of like, what are you basing this 1 to 10 system on? For me, the one that I use includes all women. So, a 0 or a 1 for me is going to be much different than a 0 or a 1 or a 5. Like a 5 for me is probably a middle-aged woman that's a little bit dumpy and maybe is not really, like, she's sort of looking after herself, but she's not unhealthy. She's very, like, she's that to me is average. Like,
I can agree with that.
Yeah. So Brett Cooper under that scale would probably be about a 7. All right. She's, for women her age, she's probably about a 6. So she's not, I mean, I would actually say that maybe even Ziegler is maybe even a little bit better looking than Brett Cooper. Definitely has a better body. But hold on. Again, I got a cough again. The issue here is that Disney botched the Snow White movie so badly that they left an opening for Daily Wire to come in and make another Snow White movie. And of course, Brett Cooper does have an acting background. I mean, and this is some of the stuff that people really should know about Brett Cooper. I mean, and this is something that got, and here I am. I'm going to drop the Rollo Tomasi thing again. Rollo Tomasi has done some reviewing of Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper, and I don't mean to say this is a bad thing, but Brett Cooper went to Berkeley. Like Berkeley. So I mean, we all know how left-wing Berkeley is, but not just that. I mean, to get into Berkeley, you either have to be very rich or very well connected. For the most part, there are some rare exceptions, but for the most part, Like, that's where the children of the elite go to get their education. So Brett Cooper is likely not from a working class family. She does not have the common touch. She is an LA. She may be a little bit more to the, she might be more to the right than, say, most of the actresses that lived in Hollywood. And apparently she decided that she wanted to leave Hollywood, which is a good thing because I pretty much gave up on it too. But she does have an acting background. So, you know, Brett Cooper's not, I mean, she might not be as bad as, say, Tommy Lahren, who is, I mean, I'm almost at the point of declaring Tommy Lahren a rhino for all intents and purposes. That being said, they picked Brett Cooper to play Snow White. And given what's going on with the Snow, and they did it because they knew it was going to like annoy Disney Studios. That is going to potentially confuse Disney Studios, which is one of the reasons I suspect, right, Disney Studios moved the production of Snow White back about a year. Because, I mean, they left themselves so wide open and they botched it so badly that they pretty much created an opening for another version of Snow White, and that's what Daily Wire did. And even if this particular version of Snow White doesn't do particularly well, chances are, even if it loses money, it's not going to lose anywhere near the amount of money that the Snow White that Disney was going to make, because Disney has poured hundreds of millions of dollars in. If Disney has to do lots of reshoots, it's going to cost millions more. And I applaud the individual who came up with the idea of doing this to own Disney. Well, I'm not a huge fan of the Daily Wire, and I'm definitely not a fan of Brett Cooper, because Brett Cooper says some pretty dense stuff about the manosphere, and it kind of mystifies me that she has such a strong following in the manosphere. You know, and this is another example. And to the guys that are listening to this, and I mean, the overwhelming, like the diagnostics that I have got from YouTube before they shut down my original channel, 93% of my audience is male. I got to emphasize this to you. You do not give away the farm to the first good-looking woman that says stuff that agrees with you, which is why I'm sort of like lukewarm on Pearl, because Pearl's, yeah, I've got some reservations about Pearl as well. But I mean, all too often I see guys giving away the farm because a gorgeous chick says something that they agree with, right? And of course, what you end up getting in that case is you get women like Lauren Southern, you get women like Tommy Lahren, you get women like Lauren Chen. And keep in mind, Lauren Chen is somebody that I'll still listen to, right? You get people like Shoe on Head, right? And to a great extent, all four of those women are basically grifters. Now, that doesn't mean that what Brett Cooper is saying is not relevant, although the 2 times I've listened to her, I was sort of like, yeah, go out and learn some more, right? And I'm glad that Daily Wire is doing this, and I wish Brett Cooper all the luck in the world with the movie. What, to me, I mean, this is, like I say, I'm going to say it again. Disney did it to themselves. But for me personally, to a great extent, right? You don't give away the farm because a good-looking chick just happens to say something that you agree with. I've been seeing a little too much of that. And it's like, I understand where the frustration is coming from. But I mean, at the same time, it's sort of like, yeah, okay, good on the Daily Wire. And of course, Disney is apparently taking legal action against the Daily Wire for the movie. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Okay, yes, I'm here. So, I have to
Yes.
in the chat there because I don't
Yes,
I don't
she
like
is.
using that language. But if somebody else wants to reiterate that, they can.
I will.
Go ahead, Rison.
Okay. So the question you posed is an agreeable cunt still a cunt? Yes. An agreeable cunt is still a cunt.
All right. Well, I just. Well, okay. So, based on that, I mean, I don't know.
Would you
Really,
trust
I
your
wish
wallet?
I had.
Okay. V, would you trust your wallet to an agreeable cunt?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
She's gonna make you agree on whatever the hell she bought with your money.
The fact that you did not give an immediate answer, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, please continue.
All right. Well, I wish I had that love line drop. I don't know if you ever heard it. Yo, where the white women at?
Oh, Blazing Saddles. Oh my God. Oh.
So we've gotten rid of Ziegler, or that's the idea, the concept here. I guess she's Hispanic of some kind. I never really thought about it. I always assumed she was white. Most black people will assume she's white, anyways. So not much of a difference to us. But to the actual white community, this is just such an atrocity. Oh my God. Wow, is that bad? Well,
Huh? To the white
I
community?
guess.
Okay, sorry, just asking.
Well, and I don't know who this Brett person is, but with a name like Brett, well, let's just say I'm gonna check her downstairs before I would do anything with her.
Oh, she's definitely female.
All right. Okay.
If I didn't know Blair White, I would have said definitely female. So, what that's worth. Yeah, I don't know. I've got no dog in this race, particularly. If somebody wants to, it's called artistic license. People should be able to create whatever the hell they want. If you don't like it, fine. If you do like it, great for you. I don't see a big deal about this in either direction, really. So, on to you, Rurson. Whatever angle you want.
Well, I assure you the angle that I'm going for with Ziegler is not between her legs. If I can blind her out because I'm fapping away, sure, I'll go for that. That's good enough for me. My eyes! I need that residual income for this one for every second that it's been on the internet. Fuck. Yes, folks, I went there, and yes, I don't give a fuck. I really fucking don't. Oh my God. Now that I'm thinking about it, like what's happened with Disney and not KK, but Darlene Kennedy. Let's call her DK for short. Those dumb fucks have had this coming for years. I mean, at first it wasn't all that much. I mean, you're going to have the salami slices from the sausage. Take that however you will. But in terms of overall,
That's
yeah, I know.
That's what she said.
Well, I don't know what she said to you, and I don't want to know. But anyway, and again, folks, this is the joy that we have between V and myself. And I love you, man. I really do. And the banter, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really wouldn't.
Well, we gotta say what men are really thinking. we can't just be too formal about this.
And between the two of you, and I do my best to trip up Naroki, and I do a pretty good job. But this is how guys can basically poke complete fun at each other, and women will look at this kind of go, ew, but how do you dare talk to this person like this? It's because we're guys. We don't fucking care. Again, you and I could wear the same fucking shirt. We go to a party. We don't know each other, and someone will wear the same shirt. Hey, let's take a picture. And we're gonna have fun with it. Women,
and especially if you just show up to the party wearing your gimp suit, I'm still gonna think that's interesting. We're still gonna take a picture.
I ain't taking no fucking gimp suit to any fucking party. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this, bastards. Fuck you when their host wrote in for this whole fucking thing with my fucking gimp suit. Bastards. Oh. But again, women cannot have this level of fun. It's absolutely immature. It's juvenile. And you know what? That's the male brain. That's the male brain at its best or worst, depending on how you want to look at it. But I mean, there was snow. Okay, so there was a meme. Okay, and it's winter time. There's 1937 Snow White, and the snow that's on the ground, and in the picture, it is as white as snow. 2023 Snow White, and it's fucking muddy. It isn't Snow White, it's fucking Snow Tan, because she's part Latina. And Latinas, by and large, are not known for their white skin. They're known for having tan skin. So the fucking check marks have been ticked off and whatever else. And I mean, Zegler has been the gift that keeps on fucking giving in terms of people that can't stand Disney. And that is now starting to become a fucking majority of the entertainment world. At least in terms of the plebs, shall we say. I mean, I had more fun listening to Nerdrotic and Disparu and that other British guy that was fucking ripping apart Robin with a Y Hood. Feels versus Heels or something like that. I can't remember what his name is. And he was also the one that went on a fucking rant on that one fucking game that you have to pick your fucking pronouns before you can actually jump into the game. And he lost his shit. Oh my God. And in my opinion, and I'm sure the other two, you two would agree with me, fucking justifiably so. Because you know what? I have to play this pronoun game before I can play this game. Fuck this shit, I'm out. It's stuff along those lines that people have had enough. Now, do not get me wrong. I don't care for the Daily Wire. I don't care for the hit piece that they put out for, well, just find the guys. You don't want to get married? Well, find the right girl. You guys are living in your own fucking ivory tower. Like, you are so apart from what's really going on You have no clue what's actually happening to men out there. Now, I will give them props, but I will call it for what it is, just as I've got mixed feelings towards Candace Owens because the woman is an opportunist. And I see the Daily Wire as being no fucking different at the end of the day. Do I like that they're sticking it to Disney? Yes, absolutely. Do I trust them? No, I don't. I do not trust those fuckers. I wish I could, but I can't. I mean, Shapiro is very much pro-Israeli because, of his faith, shall we say. And do I think that he's doing this out of the goodness of his own heart? No, I'm thinking he's doing this because he can make a buck. Now, like it or not, folks, in that light, in that perspective...
No.
He's a capitalist. He's a capitalist.
Make a buck? No. That's left field. Where are you getting that from?
Okay. I get the questions, my friend. I get the questions. But there are enough Jews that are totally all business and making money. And, as Paul Stanley had said, was it Paul Stanley? Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. Oh, my God. They were on the CBC show, Canadian Broadcasting, Communist Broadcasting Company, show Good Rockin' Tonight, and they had an interview with the guy, with the host, and they just looked like they just didn't want to be there, but because they were in the area, they got slotted in for this interview. And I remember Stanley basically saying that they wanted to they're going to take heaven and bring it down to earth. So whatever that heaven will be, whether it's sex or money or control or power, whatever the case may be. And I was happy, honestly, at first when I heard the news, to stick it to Disney because, fuck, Disney needs so much of an adjustment now. It's not funny. But now, am I that happy to jump on the bandwagon? I'm taking a couple of steps back, just kind of go, you know what, guys? Why don't you write this one out? I'm going to see how this looks. I'll wait and see how it goes. And again, the last movie that I saw was Sound of Freedom. And it's just one of those movies that will stick with you for quite a long time if you watch it. Prior to that, again, was Deadpool. Now, am I going to go out and support the Daily Wire when the movie comes out? No, I'm not. I'm going to forget all about this. And I'm not going to worry about it. That's someone else's battle. If they're going to rely on my cash to support them going forward, well, you know what? I do not have a subscription to the Daily Wire. I don't trust the Daily Wire. And I'm going to stay away from the Daily Wire. I'm going to let other people make comments and accusations and point the finger, the usual shit. And I'll start to make my own decisions. And again, if those dumb fucks 2 weeks ago didn't say, well, the problem with marriage is that you haven't found the right woman. Well, what the fuck are you going to do as a guy going out there? Well, he needs to be 6 feet plus, and he needs to make 6 figures. You have to have a 6-pack, and he needs to at least have a 6-inch dick.
I wish a troll upon each and every one of those women.
Well, then you're wishing a troll upon a lot of fucking women. A lot of women. Because they have a sense of fucking entitlement, and because you can't reason with them, because the female brain, as to how it works, it's all one long fucking string, and it gets itself wrapped up into the shape of the human female brain, and it's all powered by emotion, that it ain't gonna fucking work. Logic, no. Logic will work maybe after they're done their fucking menopause. Maybe. And I realize what I'm saying, and you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Anyway, going off on a bit of a tangent with all of this. But yeah, like I said, I wish them the best of luck. I know they picked up Gina Carano from fucking Star Wars because she got let go unceremoniously because she didn't. Her character was a strong, independent woman, but her political ideology didn't fit in with fucking DK, Darlene Kennedy, which is a whole topic unto itself. The problem,
but with the way things are heading, my man, you know, with Ziegler getting part of Snow White, you know, I think I should jump ahead of the curve here and audition myself for the next one.
Well, she may like you, she may not. I don't know.
If I can become the next Snow White, you know, things are pretty bad.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, and that's a thought I don't want to even think about. I've seen it on porn flicks, but we'll leave that one alone as well, too. and if you want to spurg out in Ziegler's face, you know what? I'm going to open up the door. I'm going to see what you're doing. Like, oh, fuck, I'm done. Goodbye. Boom. I slammed the door and I'm running away. That's something I don't want to ever see for the rest of my life. I'm going to have more beer. I'm going to draw my tears in my beers. You know, that sort of shit. So,
yeah, there you go.
So, I mean, again,
that's the euphemism for whacking off.
Well, if that's what makes you sleep better at night, we'll leave that one alone too. Anyway,
well, a good yank and a good cry, you know, that'll put anybody to sleep.
I ain't crying over that shit. I've dealt with enough females. I've dealt with enough females now. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of your crap. But shut up. Just fucking shut up. And Ziegler, oh my God. That woman needed, if there was any, prior to Brie Larson, Cheese Larson, I don't know who else before her was just one of those women, just, you know, bitch, zip, shut up. You know. Are you going to keep
zip to the moon?
Are you going to keep Rachel Ziegler's mouth from firing off? Just shove a dick in her mouth. Just shove a dick in her face. Because that's really about it. Again, no fucks given because I have no fucks to give. So, if Disney didn't hire the incompetent writers and the blue check marks and had all of the fucking diversity, and by the way, Naroki, PW and I have been having this conversation. He is aware of BlackRock. So he is starting to wake up to where the three of us are. But, I mean, Disney, Iger, Chapek, fucking everything that's happened with Star Wars, what's happening now to the fucking Marvel movie, the MCU, because that's what it's turned into, is fucking the feminist version of it all. The DCU and what Amazon was putting out, and these fuckers have all done it to themselves. They thought that they could rinse, repeat, and we'll change things here, there, and everywhere, and everyone's going to like it. Fucking no. And I'm going to go back to Robin with the white hood. And if the guy was fucking smart, which he's not, I mean, he's half Trinidadian and half Swiss, so he's mulatto at best. If he wants to get my attention for that fucking series that he's got, he's going to have to actually include white people living in the poor neighborhoods, and he has to throw enough black people that are part of the system for oppression.
I would
And
create
even-
a parody, a porn parody. Call it Robin Hood.
You can create whatever you want. You can create whatever you want. I don't fucking care. But you want, I mean, the vast majority of Canada is still, like it or not, white, Caucasian, European. And you're screaming that, you know, the problem is the white people. Well, guess what? You ain't gonna be getting fucking shit for watching the show, because you've pissed off more than half of your audience. And I'm pretty sure there are enough dumb fucking libtards. They'll be like, well, it wasn't that. Oh, it is that bad. Well, they're all black on the good side, and they're white on the bad side. Yeah, exactly. He's got a political message, to he's got his opinion, and that's fine. But it's pretty damn fucking shallow. It really is.
What's that message? What's that message? Kill
Well,
Whitey?
besides, kill Whitey is what it comes down to.
Okay, hey guys, yeah, we've been going on this one for a while.
Okay, so
yeah,
anyway.
Go ahead,
All right.
finish up.
Yeah, finish up.
Third
So
man in the
again,
corner.
Yeah, so my apologies being on my soapbox and going off on tangents, because we collectively have ADD here. Sorry, ADHD. But
I'm sorry. Have I discussed with you how much I like frosted cornflakes?
no, and I don't want to know. As long as the frosted cornflakes weren't felched out of someone's body, I don't give a shit. Anyway, good God. Wow. Yeah, again, when you're at the actually, I'm going to go back to this with YouTube as well too. Disney for the longest time Disney was number one. And you do your best to either stay on top, or at some point you start sliding down to 2, 3, or worse, 4 or lower. And with Star Wars, with Indy, and with Pixar, and the Marvels, the MCU, and She-Hulk, and all that other shit that they have just been constantly putting out. People have had enough, and if there's something that's going to be nostalgic, it's going to tap into what they enjoyed as a kid, or whenever that was, whatever that point may have been in their life, and there's another outlet to go to, great, perfect. What I would like to see, what I would love to see, is someone to actually do Snow White as it was written in Grimm's fairy tales, or the Grimm stories, or whatever it is. Because, like with Cinderella, they go through the whole bit, and she gets the prince, and everyone's invited to the wedding, and then the stepmother and her daughters, they get their eyes fucking poked out by fucking ravens or crows or something like that. Like, it's really fucking brutal. It really is. That's the shit I want to see next. That really is. So I'll leave it at that. Sound working? And V, if you want to say anything else, by all means, go ahead. But I'm done.
The next thing everybody's going to see is me and that one-piece G-string that goes over your shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna show up. You're gonna show up at the wedding that Steve is gonna be the best man for.
Oh fuck no! Fuck no!
Who has a gimp suit? I'll have my one-piece G-string. Yeah.
I don't know which is worse: the gimp suit, or you walking around with that one stretch piece, one.
Oh my God! Okay, now I'm gonna have to figure out a weird costume to show up with myself.
No, don't.
Stick around, guys. I discovered something whilst you were busy talking.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not relevant to the show, but it does involve Miss 2016.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah. So that is it for tonight, folks. I have to go grab dinner here in about 15 minutes. This was a fun show. I'm going to Well, yeah, we're gonna stick around for a few minutes because I want to discuss the. I still got 2 slots open for next week, and we've got multiple topics here. So if you want to stick around for that, you can. But this particular show is over. Don't forget Patreon as Naroki5, subscribe star as Red Pill Nation. Like, subscribe, keep coming back because we're gonna keep doing this till I die or find something better to do.